Today we are going to react to some of our really old Instagram posts.
Yeah.
And kind of show you how we got started and what they did for us. We
Yeah.
haven't seen these in a long time, so we're going to experience this with you.
Yeah. We are experiencing this as you are. Okay, so first, obviously, this isn't my picture. This is really Mitchell's picture. It's the...
Yeah, it was our first logo. I did the typical aperture blades plus weird design and pretty colors.
And it was perfect. It was
Yeah,
all I could have asked for.
It was okay.
It was great. Landed me my first real job.
Yeah, where you take pictures of toy tractors.
It's not just a toy tractor. It was this gentleman's 80th birthday, and she hired me. It was $50 an hour of coverage, which I felt like was, at the time, even though it was like my time and whatever, and like I had the equipment, I felt like it was borderline highway robbery, because I was like, I cannot believe I can charge 50 when I make 15 doing like a real normal full-time job. Like, but then the editing, then the gallery delivery, then everything. So
it's not like a full 50 an hour. You really got to split that up when you're editing and stuff.
Yeah, Lightroom costs money, the camera itself costs money, whatever at the time. Yeah. But man, the quality sucks. Like, okay, dead pixel.
Yeah, those are in every picture, right?
Dead pixel. I mean, you can't really tell. Maybe that.
Yeah.
This was like a stressful. This was when I realized photography is stressful, because that man, if you're a photographer, you know what it's like to photograph people coming in from outside. And that man was walking in from outside into a dark-ish room, as you can see, and it was blown out behind him. I'm surprised that my camera got any of that, because it was an old camera with very low dynamic range. So, yeah, I cannot believe that. My cat's just out here jumping on my mouse pad. But then, very much just a like an iPhone style picture. I mean, they're not bad. They're just definitely like super low quality with its pixels. Like,
it's the quality of like the actual it's the quality you were getting from that camera that like is surprising to me.
Yeah,
it's so noisy and it's
not great.
It almost feels like gritty.
It was a crop sensor camera. It was a Nikon D40X, and it was old. It was like 12 megapixels maybe. Yeah. And it just was not good. I remember taking this picture and being like, I can do this. I am a professional. But really, it was just natural light. Really, just, that's all. Okay, so after that, I mean, that was edited to July 23rd. You can tell by the fact that my next post is January.
These are even before COVID.
I didn't get anything. Yeah, so I got the camera in 2019. And then didn't really do anything. This was January 2020. Or I guess I took it probably... I might have taken it January. My parents keep their tree up for a long time, but this is my niece. I asked Brian if I could have her sit Amelia down in front of this tree so I could take pictures. It's really just like kid in front of the trunk of a fake Christmas tree. Like, that's all it is, which, all right, cute. We got them. That's a picture that we have now, but like, what is the lighting? What is the color?
Yeah, it's the lighting.
The grain. The grain isn't aesthetic. It's just old camera grain. Yeah. But she looks cute. I would do it differently now. How would I do it, you ask? I would probably set her out in front of the tree like a lot instead of putting her head in the branches.
Yeah, she's like actually under the tree here.
Mm-hmm. And then if I set her out, I'd get more of the tree in it and less of just the branches on top of her sweet little baby head. And then, so that was January. This was April. So obviously not doing a lot with my camera, but, I put this blanket that I had made Mitchell for college. I like sewed the fabric together and everything. And so, I put this picture on our couch, which is right here, and it's like up over our couch and then down to like make a backdrop. And I took pictures of our dogs, which I still show people and I am proud of.
Yeah.
Because they're good freaking
like
pictures.
The first light pictures you have on your Instagram. Everything else is really dark.
Yeah. And there was a window up here, which is how I was able to get this rim light. Because I like look at these now and I'm like, I love that. Like the little light around Jax's neck fur, like that's super sweet. And then just like the dynamic of the light around her ears, I love that. And if I were to have not had that light behind them, I would have just not gotten that. Like, I think at the time, this was one of those moments where I was like, I love this, but I don't know why. And now that I know things, I'm like, I know that I love the depth of the background. I know that I love that his nose and his eyes and his ears are in focus. I love that I have that little light behind him. I love that they're lighter pictures. Like, I know what I like about them. The only thing I don't like is that I like change my editing style from this picture to this picture. I don't know what it is. Probably that going into Photoshop and editing and Photoshop, like Adobe Raw or whatever, Camera Raw. That's probably what it was. And then we moved into your parents' house. This was when we moved into your parents' house. So the dogs loved Mitchell's parents' beanbag chair.
Oh, they definitely did.
And
They sat in there all the time.
loved that they loved it because I got to take cute pictures of them. Oh, they're so cute. I got to take cute pictures of them in this beanbag. Look at her. Oh, yeah. Again, this is just a situation where the room was light and I didn't really know why I liked the picture, but I knew that I vibed with it, just how light everything was. Oh, sweet little girl. And then this picture. This was the first time I felt artsy. And actually, I think that's an overlay.
Really?
I do. Unfortunately, I actually do. Because there's no way I could have done that. I think you clapped and like the stuff around your hands is real. But this stuff, I think I like Googled like snow overlay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't think I could have done that in real life. I don't know. I don't know. There's more down here.
Yeah, I feel like that would be real.
Okay, maybe I didn't. Maybe
Chalk
because
claps make a lot of dust.
yeah, no, that was real. Interesting. Yeah, so I wasn't quite into my overlay phase yet. But yeah, this is again like editing styles very different from you were standing natural light this way, back of garage this way, like just natural light.
Yeah.
And then so as you can see, for myself, one paid job. This is another for myself. Mitchell's mom had always wanted pictures of her kiddos. She talked about it. I was like, I'm a professional now. Like, this is what I'm doing. We had been doing it professionally for 1 month at this point. And I asked Mitchell's siblings to come out and take pictures. I knew nothing about lighting concepts. Obviously, you can kind of tell.
Yeah. And there's like no depth of field. Like you have the aperture way high for all these.
I don't know
Super
why.
high.
I would proudly professionally deliver this picture still. But yeah, I don't know exactly what I was thinking. This was an attempt at learning without really knowing what I'm doing. And then this was another. Everything I did at this point was free. When people are like, I'm afraid to start, I don't know how to start, like, how do I know when to start charging money? This is a year after my first posts, and I charged for this. I did not charge for even this. And this was, everybody thought we were pregnant.
Yeah.
Everybody thought we were pregnant. This is still Nikon D40X territory. But this was a couple in our apartment that we were living in got pregnant, and this was right around COVID. So I was like, I'd like to do something for you. I'm a professional photographer. Let me take your pictures. And we took pictures at a park during COVID, which if you were a photographer taking pictures at a park during COVID, you know that the public bathrooms were closed, and it was like a treacherous time for everybody because
that was tough.
It was tough. It was hot. There was like, she was pregnant. She had an outfit change, and we didn't have anywhere for her to change. So she changed in between two sheets at the park. It was rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember getting some stuff from this, but like nothing super crazy. I just like was learning. This was a long session. We were there for like 2 hours. And that's a long time to ask a pregnant person to be outside walking around posing.
It was a long session, probably because we didn't really know what we were doing.
I think that's what it was. I was like feeling things out, deciding what I liked, and I didn't realize at the time that I didn't know, but I was like learning.
Yeah.
And in this session, I still think this was free.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This is Mitchell's family, and I think this session, I remember being on this bridge, and I didn't instruct this picture yet. I think they were all looking at these birds out on the water, and I was like taking pictures of them as they were like looking at stuff, and I didn't realize I wasn't directing them. But then I like asked Mitchell how I was doing. I think I was just laughing with them and asking them what they were seeing, but I wasn't really directing them. And I was like, Mitchell, how am I doing? And he was like, you're not really saying anything. And I remember being like, am I not? And so I tried my best, but there's only so much I knew at that time. So I just kind of like, I think when you're like in your early stages, it's real easy to just like let kids be kids and just kind of capture what happens. And that's, I think, what I did. And there are ways I would do things differently, but I think this was like one of the first sessions I was proud of. Like, I liked the color.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'm thankful
vibrant.
It was overcast because I would not have been able to get,
right.
I think, the dynamic range of that camera. I actually think this might have been a session. I think I got the 7200 for this.
Okay.
And I used that because I have a picture of me showing her one of the pictures, and I had the D4 or the 7200 on there. Your Aunt Betty took a picture of me. But did I just like it? I sure did. I like all my stuff. Okay, this was, I think, the turning point for us. This was
our very first wedding.
And my cousin Jonathan, after I posted my page a year ago, reached out to us and was like, hey, I saw that you posted that you have a photography page. We want you to take our wedding pictures. And I was like, respectfully, I don't know what I'm doing. And he was like, that's okay. Like, we just want you to take our pictures. And I was like, well, okay. Yeah, I remember also being like, okay, Mitchell, well, you're coming with me, obviously. I remember, like, we were like, even, obviously we get you a ticket, but maybe we don't, like, maybe you come with me, because it was in Idaho. We were in Ohio, so it was like states away. And then I was like, what if you took video at this wedding? And you were like not sold on the whole video thing yet.
I was like, what even is that? Why do people need that?
And then I said, just look up a couple videos. You did, and you were like, I could vibe with that. And so we took pictures and video of this wedding, and this was like the first time I felt like I had something to offer. Just like the happiness that I think this was when I realized like I liked capturing just like the candid, because this wedding also had no formal portrait time. We took some family pictures outside, but we didn't take.
It was very loose with the timeline type of wedding.
Yeah. And so this was, I think, one of the experiences that I had where I was like, I just like capturing people's feelings. Like I like this. I loved this.
Yeah.
And although it's not captured perfectly, I was like, I really like weddings. So we had a wedding after this that saw these pictures and reached out to us, and I was able to be like, I can capture it because I like capturing them. Like they knew we were inexperienced. Gave you the confidence
to like know you could do it.
The colors are vibrant though.
Very bright.
I mean, I think the whites work together. I think I remember. I always thought his suit was a little blown out, and it might be, but I don't think it loses much detail. Like it, no. Yeah. Okay, and then dogs, because we always go back to dogs.
Dogs are our test subjects.
Yeah, they are, and I think just being able to have things to experiment with, like being able to, this is the right kind of animal testing, in case you're wondering, testing for photography.
Yeah. It's humane.
They're obviously having a good time, but this was, I mean, obviously edited very different from the wedding, like where it's like natural, true to life. This is almost like pink-ish and low contrast. I think I at the time was like trying to decide between the dark and moody, light and airy, filmy.
Yeah. Like,
what was I doing? And so just any practice I could get, even if it was in the backyard with the dogs, was huge. This was my third. Well, we didn't charge Jonathan and Cassie, my cousins, for their wedding, but
they did pay us.
They paid us, but this was like the second session I really charged for, and I again didn't really know what I was doing. I went out there. I think this was like borderline noon sun.
It was like it.
Yeah, it was like 11. It might have been 10 in the morning, but 10 in the morning in June is basically high sun. Anything between like 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. is noon in June. So, I mean, it was all right. I remember struggling to think of poses for this family. That's a scarf on the ground that I brought with me. But they liked their barn, they liked their hay bale, and I just remember rolling with what they wanted. I didn't really know how to pose at the time.
They're pretty good pictures. Definitely seems like this is kind of the turning point on like where you start like the pictures you do start to come out and they start to look like your pictures.
Yeah.
After this point.
This was my third paid session that I'd had. This was a friend that I grew up with. She wanted pictures of. It's her husband's siblings. And I was so proud of. I was so proud of this.
It's still a good picture.
I don't think that I came up with this editing preset. I think that was you.
Oh, I'll say I know that you didn't like the picture at the time.
I struggled with editing because obviously it's so blown out in the background.
Yeah. With
the spotty light here, like this, but I like get it now. I get it now. But at the time I was like struggling. This was like, I don't know why I would have people just like sit for a pose. I remember the session was mini. It was a really short session. I don't know why I'd have people sit and that be like the picture. Like, this is cute.
I don't know. I feel like it works.
But it does. But I just don't. Yeah, having people sit, that's a big ask for somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing. Like doing like seated things can get awkward real fast. So that was a bold move on 203 week ago Caitlin's part. So my best friend in the whole world, Madison, got me actually into weddings. My very first wedding, I second shot with her, and then the second wedding I ever did was a wedding I shot by myself, and then the third wedding was Jonathan and Cassie. So the first wedding I shot with her, she like introduced me to the like the world of weddings. But she was getting married actually, and this was a bridal shower that I was invited to as a guest, but I brought my camera just to be able to capture. And I remember feeling bad that I was like up taking pictures, but I like know I would want to remember stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's nice. That's nice.
just like a couple
remember we
cubes of
uploaded that to
cheese.
Shutterstock, like, oh, we're gonna get so rich off of these
Bless
pictures.
Shutterstock's heart.
For even accepting them. I don't know that they did accept them.
I don't know that they accepted bicep, but even the fact that they like look, somebody went over them, somebody looked at them.
Yeah, someone looked at them and was like, yes or no.
I like can't believe the difference in editing here, like how dark. I think
It's
I might have
very
even
dark.
highlighted their hands because I was
That
like,
might be
oh,
what
a
it
ring
is.
picture because they were both engaged. Wow, yeah. But this was another not paid session. This is a year and a couple months into my gig, and I haven't made any money yet. This was a memorial for my grandparents who were finally able to be buried. This might have been the new camera. Nope, that's definitely still low quality.
No, it definitely still seems a little grainy.
But look at the color on that. That's like kind of nice.
Yeah, well, the camera doesn't struggle for color; it struggles for clarity.
I'm just saying the dynamic range here. It's like obviously morning-ish. Like look at the shadow on the thing here. Like it's not crazy. Like
But
that's
it's also
kinda,
getting reflected up with the.
I'm just saying this is nice. This is a nice picture.
Yeah,
Go Caitlin.
it is nice.
But I remember taking my camera and I felt like there was a chance it would come across as like a little bit of disrespect, like having my camera at my grandparents' memorial service. But I wanted to remember it, and I wanted to be able to capture that for at least my dad, like and his siblings. And so I brought my camera. It was obviously peak COVID. I took pictures of what happened, and I posted them any chance I could to take pictures. A memorial service, my friend's my friend's bridal shower, like these pictures of the dogs. Every chance I got, I took pictures. My cousin came in from Florida, and I took these pictures of their family. This, I think, was the shift. Do you see the difference in the pictures here? No?
Yeah, not the first two. Like that one.
But this was 24 to 70. I promise you. 24 to 70. And I think this is when I had the...
Yeah, this seems clearer.
Yeah. But this was my cousin. She came in from Florida. I didn't have like a lot of experience yet, and this one I didn't charge her, but she gave me I think $50 anyway. It might have been $60. But it was just more experience. And then I did this like model call for class of 2021 seniors, and
That's so long ago.
It's so long ago. I gave a 2-hour photo session, 2 to 3 digital images, and then I discounted a full gallery of images, and the discount was that they got all the images for $100, I think. And I don't think I had a person not upgrade. I think parents were just happy to get pictures for their kids.
Right.
$100 for a whole senior session, 2-hour senior session. Like, whoa.
Yeah, geez, multiple locations with 3 outfits.
And you'll see the pictures here pretty soon. But I threw that out there because obviously I'm not getting a lot of paid gigs. I kind of wanted to start making it, and this like July of 2020 was the time where I was like, I need business. Like I want to make this work. This wedding was also in July. We had this couple reach out to us right after Jonathan and Cassie's wedding, I believe, and they were interested in booking their wedding with us. And we had obviously not a lot of experience by that point, but we charged like we didn't have a lot of experience, and they were such good sports. This, I think, was like the turning point for us. This was definitely Nikon D610, which was full frame. This was definitely 24 to 70, 7200 territory. You shot video, right?
Yeah, I did.
And and the teaser. This was their teaser, which heck yeah, that's Sunflare.
Their wedding still holds up today. Like that was we really knocked it out of the park with their wedding. And I think that's the reason why we kind of got where we were, is because we did their wedding.
Yeah, they were a COVID wedding, and they wanted it to be a nice time. It was just downsized, and we I think we just got really fortunate that they found us, because it was beautiful. Like, we haven't had another wedding on a beach. Like,
no, I haven't.
am living for this. And there are definitely things that I would do differently, but overall, like, I'm super proud of what we put out here, because that's the reason we are where we are, I think. During that time, I, again, wasn't getting a lot of business, so I was cold calling a lot of businesses, one of them being the Coffee Hall. And I asked, she was a high school friend and is a current adult friend, Maggie, if I could come take pictures of their coffee shop, which they established, I think, right before COVID is right when they started. So COVID hit them too. And I asked if I could take pictures of, for their website or their social media, and they were super nice. They're like, of course. So I came in, they gave me different things to take pictures of, and I got to play around a lot with like light and then editing afterwards. I remember really trying to decide like what direction I wanted to take the editing in, like if I wanted it to be super bright or the contrast, like what the contrast looked like, the color.
Definitely is like yellow or all those edits.
Yeah, so I got to take a lot of pictures. I actually went in, I think, 2 days to take those. And then I actually hosted this giveaway. Oh my gosh, E-Squared Photography. I follow them. But I took these family pictures. This was like my, what is this, third family session at this point? Fourth family session maybe?
Yeah, at
and
most.
Yeah, and I'd hosted a giveaway. And I picked 2 families to give the session away to. And it was like for a 45-minute family session and all the images. And they were super good sports. They're pretty integrated into the community, so a lot of people found me from these pictures. Just checking to make sure we're recording. But it was like a chance for me to get to experiment with family, and then they also let me kind of like grab them for some couple pictures.
Yeah.
And this, I really feel like when I was editing those pictures, I was like, yes, because even though there are things I would probably change, like I feel like I just was starting to understand concepts for the first time, which was huge for me. This was the second session that I gave away, and this was just a group of friends. And this, I feel like, instilled some of the things I was learning from the older session. And then we have like another coffee hall session where I go in and take pictures of models for them to post on their social media. A little bit more artsy. This is a senior session, and I remember asking them what they were bringing, like outfit-wise, and they said his baseball jersey. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to post. I don't know how to pose senior boys, let alone like senior baseball boys. So I was like all over Pinterest. I think this is a Pinterest idea that I thieved. It's probably safe to say I thieved it. Yeah. But I was like really proud of this too, for not really having much experience. And then another family session. Okay, I got really lucky in the beginning because my families were just excited to take pictures. I remember taking these and being like, this is it. Like, they are going to, these pictures are going to blow up, and they have 14 likes. So obviously you could tell they did.
They were what made you famous.
But the light, like the dynamics of the light, the way that I used like focus here, like I remember directing and just feeling like on top of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like really fond of this session still. I feel like I did the kids justice. Yeah. These obviously aren't the whole galleries, but yeah. Oh my gosh, this was a film that I took of the coffee hall's business. Oh my gosh.
Process. It's very contrasty.
It is, and the sounds. I'm glad that we're actually not doing sound for this because. Hunting. Oh my gosh, we took that like 4 times.
Just smacking the cup on the table. Very nice.
Wow.
I love the water on the...
Okay, there are things I do differently. Like, it's so dark.
It's
actually,
so dark.
I remember...
Probably add lighting.
I remember watching that like a year later and being like,
I actually just archived that.
Did you really?
This winter, I was like, well, I guess we should probably keep that. I don't know why, but
yeah, maybe.
I like keeping stuff.
So I actually just saw this couple and their sweet little baby. They graduated from school, obviously, and they were one of my first couple sessions where I was like, hot damn, I can do this. And I think it's because they were really good models, and they let me just experiment. I drove back to school. They graduated with us, or they graduated, I guess. She graduated the year after us. Maybe she didn't. Why did I take these in 2020?
I don't know.
I think Jacob graduated with us. But yeah, I remember taking these and being like obsessed. I was like, these are the most beautiful pictures I could ever take. I will ever take. This is as good as it gets. And then I posted them 3 times. You can see 1, 2, 3. So we went in this gazebo. This is where Mitchell and I were supposed to actually be married. Was in this gazebo.
It was rainy.
It was rainy. It didn't work out, but it's nice to take somebody else's pictures here. And then I just like loved everything about these. They were adorable. They're married. They're in love. Pictures are good with people in love. Like, and I just happened to get lucky with my camera. This couple got engaged and they were moving going out of state for their wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. This is, I feel like, kind of lighting color wise on brand with what I did for a really long time. Like what I would maybe currently do. Like it's a little bit dark, but
it is just a little bit darker.
And then the texture of her skin, I'd probably go in and like change a little bit. But like, dang, is that sky real? It looks real. The edges of the tree, you can tell by the edges of the trees that it's real. So otherwise there'd be like a little
fringe.
Yeah. This was one of my model calls. And I, with the model calls, would put a picture in color and a picture in black and white on social media as their sneak peek, and then they could buy more if they wanted more. And then this mama ended up buying more, and then same with her mama ended up buying more. I remember taking these pictures and being like again, I am the shit. Like, this is it. I'm taking good pictures. And this is when we started to get busy. So this is August of 2020.
So round in the middle of the calendar.
Yeah. And then I got hired. This is actually the first time we photographed a wedding. Like, and I only covered 2 hours. So I believe my hourly coverage at the time was like $150. So in a year's time, I went from $50 to $150 an hour. And I covered 2 hours, so they paid me $300 for their wedding pictures. And I advertised with their pictures for such a long time.
Oh, they still hold up. They're good.
They're great,
A little bit in front of like a black hole in that picture, but...
Yeah, light-wise, I feel like I was grasping concepts. Composition-wise, I was getting it a little bit more. I remember getting there. This was the only time in my career that a card has corrupted. I got there, and I was photographing with my... I think it was still D610. It was D610. And I had cards from Walmart. They were the on-brand cards.
Ooh, those are bad news.
Yeah, and I got there early. I took about 5 minutes of pictures, and then I went to go back in and chimp. And I was looking through, and as I was like trying to scroll, it was saying that the images were unable to read. They were corrupt. And I panicked, not knowing what to do really. And I only had the one card, or like the two. And so I think it was just one. I don't think I was dual writing. I don't think I was using my 610 to dual write yet.
Yeah.
And I formatted it, and I took pictures, and they showed up on the back of my screen, and I was like, well, we'll roll with it.
Yeah.
I would never now. I'd be like, put it on pause. I'm going out to get a new SD card if the only SD card I had was corrupt.
Immediately pitch it.
Yep.
That's not the only time we had problems with on cards from Walmart. Those are absolute garbage.
They're so bad. Don't do it. Don't do it. You will regret it for the rest of your life if you do. But I definitely... This was like a time, though, where I'm lucky the picture's saved because these are bomb. And then this was like one of the senior sessions I got to really experiment with, like just like somebody who wanted to model for me. Like she had some ideas. I had some ideas. This was a Mohican Flower Farm. Shout out to them for being like freaking gorgeous. Oh my gosh. And then this portfolio video.
Portfolio piece.
I don't know if it'll play the sound. No, it won't. But I had it to music and those look different edit wise, don't they?
Yeah, it's probably the video render or whatever not being quite right. What do you want?
Yeah. But I was so incredibly proud of the pictures I'd taken, and I wanted everybody to see them. So this was on YouTube. I'd send this to potential clients. I was like, look at what I can do. And they're not bad. I think they describe my first year of work, which is like figuring it out and letting people have a good time. I think that's probably the vibe. Yeah, I'm proud of it. I was like the year that I learned.
I know he's trying to figure out how to walk over here.
Just nails.
He just clipped his nails too, so that would have been worse.
Yeah.
If you hadn't.
Hi, buddy. He's like dinner time. But yeah, this was I think the year of lots of learning for me. Lighting, composition, being quick on my feet, focus points. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That little baby looks like he'll run for office one day. Okay, this was also I think this is when I was getting it. Where the light should be, what to ask of people. This is Maggie from the coffee hall, in case you were wondering.
Your logo also changes. Like, it's very spidery now.
Yeah, I
How long did you roll with that one?
Loved it for a long time. A very long time. This was one of our first engagement sessions that I'm seeing here. Like, other than Kristen and...
It's the first engagement session that we did their wedding.
Yes. And I was so proud of these.
Yeah.
I actually, before the session, what was it? I couldn't have the focus box was focused down here.
Yeah, the focus box was moved and it wasn't clear on how to get it
The D610,
back.
yes, I was having a hard time. I think I switched focus modes or something, and I didn't know how to get it back. So Mitchell helped me troubleshoot right before we left for the session. This was one of my model, not a model call, but this was a brother of a model call. And I, again, just like, I feel like I'm grasping lighting. It's like, I would have had him face the other way. Like, you could tell the sun's behind him because it's cloudy. Have him lean a lot. It's a lot of leaning.
Well, what can you have guys do besides lean?
Hands in pockets, sit on a step. This is Shannon and Nate.
Oh, it's so dark.
That was this. Oh my gosh.
We just walked them through the woods.
Clarity. Girl, they were troopers. We went to this park and then we just like straight up walked around this park. Like they had nothing better to be doing. Stova's gonna like lose my spot on my feed.
He's taking up all the room. I wonder what he wants. He must be hungry.
Yeah, I'm saying he's hungry. He's like needing to with his hands. But yeah, I remember walking them around this park and it was so hot. They were troopers though.
Oh yeah.
They were troopers. This was one of my first times with a groom with a hat. And I was like, how do you ask them if they want to take it off without making it sound like I need him?
Suggest that they should take it off for a couple because you know they don't want to.
Yeah. And she was like, take it off. Like she told him he had to take it off for a couple, but
you still have hair. Take the hat off.
Yeah. This session with Megan, her dad was standing right here holding the reins. And this was one of my first times with Photoshop.
Figuring it out.
Yes. And, I mean, you can't really tell.
Those solar flares.
I was obsessed.
Like the main focus of both those pictures.
I was obsessed with solar flares.
It's like someone took
They're
a bite
so
out
dark.
of their shoulder.
They hired us for their wedding, and bless their hearts.
This was like way before their wedding because that's not their engagement session.
No, their wedding was I think 2 years later. Right? Exactly 2 years later. Their wedding was October 1st, I think 2022.
Oh wow, yeah. It was in October. I don't remember what day it was though.
First. I had some mini sessions. Mini sessions, and it was potentially gonna be rainy, but I got some really good, cute, happy to be there families.
Those are really good.
Oh my gosh, his cute little smile with the Capture by Caitlin logo. Yeah, I like asked Lawrence if I could partner with them. They shared them, and then it turns out most of these people knew me. Like that's our like youth group, one of our youth group leaders from when we were kids. These are kiddos of my high school English teacher. Yeah, I think this was one of the times when I had somebody just not show up on me, which doesn't happen very often.
It does happen though.
It's happened, I think, maybe 3 times in my career. I can remember 2.
It's usually like some kind of mini session, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely happened twice, both times with mini sessions, and this was one of them. And this was before I started charging a retainer, so I was literally out the spot and the money.
Just out the money, yeah.
Yeah, this was another senior session that I did, and I actually
did
her wedding
well.
recently. Yeah. This family, I remember.
Oh, you done with that, buddy?
This was one of the times where I just felt like I got it. I used this picture to advertise a lot. Continuing on. These were more Apple Orchard minis, and you can tell the sun was a struggle.
Very intense.
Yeah, so intense.
They still got that like little bit of green haze on their skin in these pictures.
This family, he was crying, and I had the availability to have them come back later. So I was like, okay, I've got a couple sessions, so you guys have to leave. But if you want to stick around, we can try again in a little bit. And their response to that is like the reason I would still give that response to people if I could. And I can sometimes. Like I think I just did it with mini sessions recently where kiddo was crying, and I was like, you know what, if we need to take a second, let's take a second. I've got one more session, and then I can have you back. And I think just their response, they were so appreciative and so kind, and we ended up being able to get good pictures with them. Good pictures. as good as I could get at this time. Wow, these definitely feel like a step back. I think.
Yeah, almost like clipped blacks and stuff.
Yeah,
You're
it was
definitely prioritizing the highlights and not the people.
but the highlights still even look bad. Like, it's one of the first times I think my logo partially in the picture.
Just partially.
I think this was one of the first times I felt the stress of mini sessions. Like, obviously, I think this day not a lot of people came, and then all my other sessions, you can tell that they're not rushed. They like. There's thought behind it, behind all the lens flares.
Yeah, light behind, right on the edge.
But these pictures, that's not bad.
Mm-mm.
But these pictures are just a little bit less thoughtful. I think because I felt frantic. I think it was one of my first experiences with being frantic. Kelsey and Dylan, this is one of my best friends from college too. And they got engaged, and I asked if I could take some of their engagement pictures, and I felt really good about these. I used some of those pictures to advertise again for like a really long time, like this one. This one was one of my favorite ones. This session.
Was that long ago? The lightsabers?
Yeah. Oh, do I not have a picture of the lightsabers?
No, I don't think so.
This family brought lightsabers for their session, and I just felt like a champion for being able to capture them. I think I even like hardcore edited them to glow, and I'm afraid to see what that looked like because probably wasn't amazing. But you can definitely tell like around here I like start to have an established editing style. It's darker.
It's different than what you do now though.
But the greens, I think I found the way I like the greens. I think the only difference is that I wish a dog happy birthday, and it's not even like how did I know it was her birthday? Bro.
I don't know.
Priorities. But yeah, I definitely started to notice light better and color more.
Also, those pictures are interesting because right before the session, the guy, he gave himself a buzz cut, but like not an even one. So like in this picture right here, it looks like he's balding very badly, but he's not. He has a full head of hair.
He does.
He just gave himself like kind of the choppiest buzz cut ever. And it was so sad because he's got perfect
a whole
hair.
head of hair. You can see that hairline. That's a whole hairline. That's a good hairline.
He's got all his hair. He just cut his hair weird right before the session. He told us he did it right before.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. I ended up going in and trying to edit,
like fixing the thinner
spots. the denseness or whatever. Yeah, I was like super proud of these pictures too. I think they dressed in neutrals, and this is when I started to realize neutrals just photograph well. Ooh, unless you photograph them like that, Caitlin. The perspective shot, the first ever perspective shot.
Yeah, doing that since almost the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like I learned so much here. Oh my gosh. Okay. Story time. I was like, I want to offer Christmas minis, but I don't want to do them outside.
They don't look as bad as I remember.
This is the test shot day.
Oh.
There's a lightsaber picture.
Ooh. It's like I'm at the movies.
Oh.
Oh, you remember that picture where we put all our gear out? Like, look how cool we are.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's look at it. Let's look at it. Nikon. I had a D610. That's a Z6. Yep. Another D610. That's my D40X. That was the backup.
Yeah, that's the
Canon.
I think it was an SL3.
That's your Fujifilm XT3.
Mm-hmm.
7200.
7200 for the Fuji.
7300
for
our walkie-talkies.
Oh yeah, we tried that one time. We tried those walkie-talkies. I think they were $60 for like 5. And we tried them in a giant cathedral, and they didn't work at all. So we ditched them. But like our second wedding, we're like, we need communication, and then we went like 3 years without any communication before we finally bought our headsets.
Yeah, we were Justin Porter Media before Justin Porter Media.
Well, we just couldn't.
Cool.
We couldn't find anything that worked, so we just gave up.
We tried these walkie-talkies. Oh my gosh, we looked like freaking Secret Service at this one.
Yeah, they had it was the clear earpieces.
Oh my gosh, we even set the second photographer up with one, and then they didn't work.
They didn't work.
It's fine.
Man, I got the gimbal early.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, this is a year into the business.
Yeah, for some reason I thought I had the Steadicam way longer.
And I remember like photographing this with a phone and putting it online.
Yeah, because all our cameras are on the floor.
Your dad like was like, "Are you trying to get the house broken into?" Like, look at all those sensors just right out in the open. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Probably because we lose our caps.
I do. I don't anymore, but I do. Then this was the first wedding of 2022. I had a really hard time with the detail pictures.
2021.
2021. Yeah, and I feel like there's not a lot to say other than I was still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I wanted their backs to the sun, but at 11 in the morning, like, what does that look like?
Yeah, we were taking pictures early.
David took this picture, my second photographer. My brother, we trained to be my second photographer real early on.
Mm-hmm.
And he shot every wedding with us. And he shot this picture. And I was like, the intention. And he did it intentionally. It's not something I would have ever seen. That's like a shout out to second photographers everywhere, to photographers in general everywhere. Sometimes they see something that you just wouldn't see. I would never have seen that, the little love behind them. And this definitely was a couple I think that would appreciate the love, you know? Okay, moving on. This was an interesting situation. So Mitchell's dad was like, hey, there's a radio station that is doing a Valentine's Day wedding for couples. It's a drive-through wedding, and they need a photographer. Reach them at this. And I was like, okay. And so I reached out to them. I was like, hey, I saw you guys need a photographer, and I shot my shot thinking that there would be somebody better. I was like,
not thinking you'd get it.
There's obviously someone out here that deserves this more than me, would do it better, who's reached out already. And they were like, great.
We'll take it.
And I was like, just like that I can shoot this wedding. And it was obviously free, and we got there, and it was freezing cold. It was so cold. And it's Woody in the Wake Up Call 92.3. And they had 4 couples, I believe, get married. Oh, ooh.
A black frame.
And
nice.
Oh my gosh, it was just like the sweetest thing. These couples got married, and we just got to be there and photograph, and the news interviewed us afterwards. And I remember, they did. They interviewed me.
Okay.
There was a Balloon Cajuns was the person who provided the super cute balloon arch in the background, and balloon wall, more like.
Yeah,
like
a lot of balloons.
And oh my gosh, it was such early morning. But yeah, they interviewed her before me, and she was like, and we're offering 10% to anybody today who orders, saying that they heard us on the radio. And I was like, they looked at me to be like, all right, Caitlin, so what do you have to say about your business? And I was like, should I have offered a discount? Yeah, come hire your photographer because they were on the radio.
Yeah.
Nothing says I don't care about what the pictures look like. Like, I've never seen your pictures before, but you're giving a discount, so I thought I'd inquire. But yeah, I was so proud of these pictures. Like, I mean, that's snow. It was so cold.
It was so cold.
It was
we're like
so
wearing 2 layers of gloves, and it was still cold.
Yes,
I
but
was wearing 2 masks, and everyone there was like, "You're one of those double maskers." I was like, "It's really just to keep my face warm."
Yeah, I'm just so freezing. Cold. But yeah, this was one of my
black frame. I can't believe that.
First times, really. I don't know. I just felt like I felt on top of the world. Like, I just was doing a service for these people, and I was friends with her on Facebook for a while. We found each other. And then it snowed really bad just the next day, and we
went out and took those.
One of my favorite pictures. Mm-hmm. I think this is still my Facebook profile picture. No, I just changed it because we just took business pictures. Okay, and then this was a coworker that I used to have when I worked a normal person job, and they are so swaggy, so freaking wow.
Well, honestly, I kind of forgot what they look like. This is like, they're not how I remember.
Look at them.
So long ago.
Look at them. They look so good. And these pictures, I just felt good about. I felt so good about them. It was the first time we ever tried the slingshot pose. I'm just gonna obsess a little bit longer. Wow, she's a model. That's all. I posted these spring minis. I am pretty sure I got 1 person. I mean, I posted them in March, April 24th. Yeah, that checks out. This was so I feel like every winter we've had a phase where we're learning, and then when we get back into it the next year, we like hit the ground running. And so this is like engagement session 2 of this year, and I just feel like I hit the ground running. There are things I would probably take out that visitor sign.
Right.
I probably wouldn't have such harsh light. I probably would have changed the angle a little bit, but there are things about this session that I just feel like I was able to pull from and use for a really long time. Like I advertised the heck out of this picture. And her sister actually is a family that we see just about every year for family pictures. Yeah. Again, like we had a lot of engagement sessions.
Talk about cold. That one was cold.
Oh my gosh. You can tell just by the way his shoulders.
He's so cold.
Look at his little shoulders right here. He's so cold. Yeah, this was actually, if you've heard anything about our triple header, this was one of the weddings we did that weekend. Yeah, but that was freezing. I cannot believe we had so many sessions while it was cold. I remember being so excited about these. Oh my gosh, Kim is just gorgeous. Okay, so I did not post a lot about this.
You did. You skipped over it.
Did I really?
It was a while ago. Yeah, it's there, and then if you go up more, there's 2 more.
Okay, I advertised with this also for a long time. This is my cousin and his now wife, and I took their engagement pictures, and they took us all over California and Arizona, and we got to just kind of experiment. I feel like I did a lot of growth here.
Yeah.
So much growth.
And you got like a ton of variety of pictures out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would edit things different. I would shoot things different. But overall, I'm really proud. I also advertised with this until probably last year. So it made like 4 full years of advertising. Yeah. Wow, these pictures are great.
They're just a little darker.
Yeah.
I thought that was white frame.
I also thought that was white frame. I was like, are you kidding me? But this was, I think, how we stepped into Catholic weddings.
Yep, because most Catholic weddings we do is some relation. Not relation, but like knowing someone of someone of, and this is one of the first we did. So
well, it's not always someone of someone, but there have been a lot. And then a lot of people who hire a Catholic wedding photographer have seen that you do Catholic weddings. Yeah. Like they want some experience. Okay, so going back, since I skipped over all of that, this is like at the end of our guides, I'm pretty sure. Because it's like my favorite picture. That's a good picture. My cousin was like, I want to take a picture of you guys.
We don't get a lot of pictures done.
No, we don't. Okay, so going back, yeah, it was cold. And then this was like the first time it was kind of warm. My first short sleeve session of the year. Kaylin was excited about the weather. And yeah, it was at a park, and don't know if this is TMI. I was dealing with some health stuff that made me really uncomfortable during this session. And I feel like I still crushed it. They got married literally a month and a couple days later.
Yeah, they waited a long time to get their engagement session in.
Yeah, but you know what? It was cute. I feel like I found my style a little bit. Ooh, she's glowy.
Yeah, very hazy.
Yes. Ooh.
Crazy how old some of these pictures are.
I used this for a really long time. My brother took this. You could tell I'm looking down toward my little brother. And yeah. Oh my gosh, that was back before my Invisaligns. That's my family. That's me and Mitchell, obviously. My brother who took the picture up toward me. You can see how that would be an upshot. Yeah. My sister, who's now married and has a husband. My dad, my mom, my brother, my sister and her husband, and their kiddo, Amelia. Oh my gosh, my parents are the cutest. Oh my gosh. See, my family, every chance I get, every April, we take more family pictures. And I feel like it's just another chance for me to get to try to be better and work harder. Yeah, so this spring, I feel like I started to, in the spring.
Kind of the start of what we do now.
Yeah.
The start of 2021.
Well, in the spring, it's ugly in Ohio. And you kind of have to be creative with the way you're shooting and shoot in front of certain things. And I think that affected dramatically how I shoot now, because I put like a lot of depth behind my people, usually, because stuff doesn't always look pretty. And yeah, I was like, I think a very formative time for me. Yeah. And then, I don't know what else to say. I feel.
Yeah. We kind of just roll into, that's just kind of how we do things now.
I remember this was our first wedding that year, and we both got done with the portrait session.
We were like, yes.
We were in the car like screaming to each other. We were on our way to the reception, we were screaming to each other about how excited we were about the portrait session. I felt like I was killing it. I felt like Mitchell was killing it. And yeah, that was like cloud 9 for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, ever since then we've kind of done a similar thing. Like obviously our style has changed over time, and we've done some things that are extra cool. Mitchell got this and I loved it. Oh yeah, this is the couple who's basically a model. But yeah, there are like a lot of things that's similar about the way that I shot then and the way that I shoot now. I edit a little differently. But overall, that was the start. It just took a long time, about a year, 2 years, a year and a half, to get to the point where I was like shooting relatively consistently, and you could kind of see that I was making strides in my photography, and it wasn't like a fluke anymore. Like the pictures I was getting were like good pictures.
Right.
Yeah. But do you have any final thoughts?
No.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's been super fun reacting to my old stuff.
Try to make it so you can see me. But
Mitchell is stoked now.
If you have any ideas on what maybe we should react to next, leave it in the comments. And if you want to see more stuff like this, go ahead and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.